Project B is targeting some of the highest ranking basketball figures in the world. But what's more important is, will they offer Caitlin Clark that $100 million deal?
The WNBA just got blindsided by a shock they never saw coming. Caitlin Clark's name is now being linked to figures that sound unreal. We're not even talking millions anymore, people are seriously mentioning a $1 billion deal. Saudi Arabia has completely shifted the landscape, and a league that never paid its biggest star what she deserved might be facing a costly wake-up call. If someone offered you $1 billion to play basketball overseas, would you hesitate for even a second? Tell me in the comments right now.
Notification come across my phone that says Neko Gumake becomes the first player known to join new Project B league in Europe and Asia. Neko Gumake, the president of the WNBA, in the middle of these CBA negotiations where literally everything is on fire right now in the world of women's basketball. Everything is burning. Nneka is announced as the very first player who will be joining this league that not only is a league that runs during the off season, but they have marketed themselves as a league that will rival the WNBA. It's a 5v5.
The internet went wild yesterday after Nneka Ogwumike signed with Project B. And it's not really about Nneka herself, it's about what the move signals. She's the president of the WNBA Players Association, the person expected to fight for stronger deals within the league, yet she just switched over to the competition. It's like the captain of the Titanic spotting the iceberg and immediately jumping into a lifeboat. The message couldn't be louder. Even the union's top leadership isn't confident in the WNBA's future, but here's where things get truly crazy. After Nneka made her move, the rumor mill exploded with talk about who might be next. And one name keeps dominating the conversation: Caitlin Clark, not for some ordinary contract, though. There are quiet whispers about offers that could make her one of the highest paid athletes in the world. Some people are even tossing around the idea of $1 billion deal. And while that sounds over the top, you have to remember exactly who we're dealing with here.
Now, word on the street is that they're looking to target Caitlin Clark. We got some tweets to go over, but what's first is we got a bit of negotiations for the WNBA actually signing to this Saudi-backed project. Man, ESPN broke the story late yesterday, guys, and this one right here is a shocker. And this has to be a conflict of interest, man, in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Saudi Arabia doesn't follow the usual rules of economics. They have so much money that dropping $100 million on an athlete barely makes a dent. They're paying Cristiano Ronaldo more than $200 million a year. They've handed out signing bonuses worth hundreds of millions just to bring golfers into LID Golf. They've flown out Floyd Mayweather for exhibition fights and paid him absurd amounts of cash. When you're sitting on oil wealth that could bankroll an entire nation for decades, money simply isn't a limitation. So when someone suggests Caitlin Clark could be offered $1 billion deal, it's not as outrageous as it sounds. Likely? Maybe not. Possible? Definitely. These are the same people who shelled out $6 million to a fighter for just 3 exhibition bouts. The same group that gave a golfer somewhere between $400 and $600 million purely as a signing bonus. They're not operating anywhere near the financial rules the rest of the sports world plays by.
Project B is paying a lot, which is what we assumed. This all started with Saudi-backed league, and that's what got the controversy ball rolling and the speculation ball rolling. And to be honest, I wasn't sure what to make of it. But now it seems like a very, very real thing, particularly with Nneka Ogwumike signing, and there's the message that sends with her being the Players Association president and everything. But then there is the bottom line. Everybody's got a price as the $1 million man.
The WNBA is in full panic mode right now. They're in the middle of collective bargaining talks. Just push things back another 30 days, and suddenly their biggest rival swoops in and starts snagging players with offers the WNBA could never dream of matching. It's like trying to negotiate a raise while your boss watches another company offer your coworker 10 times your salary. So what exactly is Project B bringing to the table? First, the salary numbers are undisclosed, which usually means they're so enormous the WNBA would look tiny. In comparison, second, players get equity, real ownership. They wouldn't just be athletes, they'd be stakeholders with a financial future tied to the league's success. Third, the season runs from November to April, perfectly lining up with the WNBA offseason, the months players typically spend grinding in foreign leagues just to supplement their income. Now picture what that means for someone like Caitlin Clark. Instead of making her WNBA paycheck and then heading to Russia or Turkey to play in half-empty arenas just to earn more, she could secure generational wealth in a league backed by massive funding in top-tier facilities. No more exhausting overseas trips. No more worrying about unreliable international contracts. Just one deal that could change her entire life. The timing couldn't be worse for the WNBA. They're trying to land a new media rights agreement and capitalize on last season's momentum that depends heavily on their biggest stars. And right when they need stability the most, Project B rolls in with Saudi money and threatens to gut the entire league. It's like watching someone spend years stacking a fragile house of cards, only for someone else to step in and blow it over in one breath.
Anyhow, Project B is founded by former Facebook executive and the co-founder of Skype. And they've got the investors, as I've mentioned before. Candace Parker is one of them, Novak Djokovic, Sloane Stephens. So it's some big-time investors involved as well. But the salary is what is truly staggering and the thing that could change the entire game and the landscape.
Nneka Ogwumike openly admitted that the compensation package was the reason she signed. She didn't sugarcoat it or pretend it was about anything else. The offer was better, so she took it. And honestly, who could blame her? The WNBA has underpaid its players for years while constantly promising that things will improve someday. Project B came in and basically said, "Forget someday, here's the money right now." And now the conspiracy theories are everywhere. Some people believe Project B deliberately targeted the WNBA because they recognized how weak and exposed it was. The league has been losing players to overseas teams for years. The pay is low. The conditions don't come close to what men's leagues offer. All Project B had to do was provide real money and a bit of ownership, and suddenly they became a serious option. But the real prize, the name everyone is chasing, is Caitlin Clark. She's the biggest star in women's sports today. She sells out arenas. She breaks streaming platforms. Her merch numbers are insane. If Project B lands her, their entire league becomes legitimate overnight. They wouldn't just be a new competitor, they'd be the league that signed Caitlin Clark. And that alone is worth whatever price it takes. They have to pay her. Sure, some people are claiming Caitlin's stock has dipped a bit lately. Maybe there's some truth to that, but she's still easily the most marketable athlete in women's basketball. If this opportunity had popped up last year at the height of Caitlin mania, we might actually be talking about the full $1 billion mark. A more realistic range right now is probably $10 to $20 million, maybe even $50 million if they're trying to make a massive splash. But here's the real issue: Saudi Arabia doesn't do anything halfway. When they enter an industry, they take over. They didn't simply create a new golf league, they built LIV Golf and immediately lured away the PGA's top stars with jaw-dropping contracts. They didn't just dabble in soccer, they brought in Cristiano Ronaldo and turned their league into a hotspot for global superstars chasing one last huge payday. So if they're setting their sights on women's basketball, they're not here to compete. They're here to dominate. And Caitlin Clark is the centerpiece of that plan. If they sign her, the floodgates open. Other players will see her getting paid what she's worth and either demand similar treatment or jump over themselves. Within 2 years, Project B could easily position itself as the premier women's basketball league worldwide, leaving the WNBA looking more like a developmental system than a top-tier league. The WNBA's biggest advantage over its players has always been the lack of alternatives. Yes, athletes could go overseas, but that came with language barriers, cultural differences, unstable leagues, and constant worries about whether their paycheck would even arrive. And now Project B is offering overseas-level money with US structure and Saudi-backed resources. That's a complete game changer. Some people want to turn this into a moral debate, saying players shouldn't accept Saudi funding because of human rights issues. And sure, that conversation is valid, but where is that same energy when the NBA works closely with China, or when American corporations pour billions into countries with their own controversial records? Athletes have always navigated messy choices about where money comes from. The truth is simple: Project B isn't breaking any rules. They're not forcing anyone's hand. They're just putting better offers on the table. That's how competition works. For years, the WNBA insisted that market value dictates salary. Well, the market finally responded loudly, and surprise, surprise, when real competition shows up, salaries skyrocket. Watching the WNBA scramble is almost surreal. They can't compete financially, the money just isn't there. So instead, they're leaning on sentiment. They talk about loyalty, about growing the league together, about the importance of legacy, but legacy doesn't cover bills. Loyalty doesn't build generational wealth. And good vibes won't fund retirement. For Caitlin Clark, the choice is almost obvious. She's already done everything possible for the American game. She's already the face of women's basketball. She's already shown she can shine at the professional level. There's nothing left for her to prove in the WNBA. Meanwhile, Saudi-backed Project B is offering her a chance to earn what she's truly worth, and the precedent this sets is massive. If Caitlin takes the money and heads to Project B, every future women's basketball star suddenly knows they have real alternatives. They won't be stuck accepting whatever small offer the WNBA puts in front of them. They'll have bargaining power. They can push for equity. They can negotiate from strength instead of necessity. This entire situation is one the WNBA created. They had years to address pay gaps. They could have shared revenue more fairly. They could have marketed their players better. They could have treated their stars like the elite talent they are instead of acting like they were replaceable. They didn't, and now someone else is offering what the WNBA refused to give. When you really think about it, it's wild. The president of the WNBA Players Association just left for a rival league. That's not a subtle message, that's lighting a match on your way out the door. If the person responsible for securing better WNBA contracts doesn't believe in the league's long-term future, why should anyone else? And it's not just NECA. Project B is already pulling in investment from former WNBA champions, too.